Hello. So today I want to talk to you about the Kinfire Delve games, which Incredible Dream Studio makes this whole Kinfire world, and I have been wanting to dive in for quite some time. They were kind enough to supply me with these so that I can tell all of you about them. So the Kinfire world is expansive. The artwork is gorgeous. There are characters that are going to move throughout the game. So the first game that came out is Kinfire Chronicles, and it is a big box. It is a co-op game. It looks really fun. I would love to try it, but co-op is not necessarily the games that I personally add to my collection. I love playing them at other people's houses. I'm more of a competitive girly. So the Kinfire Delve, there are 3 different boxes. And if you get one box, that will play 1 to 2 players. If you have 2 boxes, you can then play with up to 4. And if you play it multiplayer, it is a cooperative game as well. I have only played this solo and I love it. I would be curious to see how it plays with 2, 3, or 4 players, but this is such a good solo experience. I cannot say enough about it. And then I know coming is going to be Kinfire Council, which, if I understand it correctly, it is a much bigger game, much like the original Kinfire game was. And there are cooperative elements, but it is ultimately a competitive game, which I am here for and can't wait to try. But let me tell you about the Delve series. So first of all, I love having all 3 boxes because you can mix and match, which is great. So the first one that came out is Vainglory's Grotto. And then we have Scorn's Stockade. And the third one in the trilogy is Callus's Lab. So you are going to be going down into these locations, and you're going to have to defeat things along the way so that you can face the big bad, which in this case, it would be Vainglory or Scorn or Callus. And each one of these gets progressively more difficult to beat at the end. So if you're looking for a place to start, I would definitely recommend Vainglory's Grotto, as it is the one that's a little bit easier. None of them are easy. There's a ton of gameplay in all of them, but they do build and get progressively more difficult. So each game comes with one of the bad guys. So in this case, it's Vainglory. And there are 3 of his cards in the game. And you are going to shuffle them up, and without looking, you would pick one to play with. Why does that matter? Because on the back, each one of them is different, and they have like some of the shiny stuff on it, which is really cool. I don't know what you call that, but I like it. It's a great extra touch to the art. So you don't know which one you're going to have to be defeating in the end. And in addition to this is the value you have to beat, which you'd be like, oh, I hope I get the 12. It's way easier. No. There's some text down here that make things happen, that 12 is not necessarily the easiest one to beat. So you've got that going on. How are you going to take this person down? Well, each game comes with 2 of the heroes, and they have this cool gold foiling on their deck. So in this game, you have Asha, who has an ongoing ability, and you have Kor, who also has an ongoing ability. Each of the other 2 boxes has 2 heroes in there as well, and they have their own abilities. Each one also then has this lantern that you get the opportunity to activate, and it is worth a lot of points and very powerful. You don't get to activate it a lot, so when you do, you want to use it wisely because it is immensely helpful. Then each character has an 18 card deck. So depending on player count, that will determine your hand size to start out. So when I play solo, I get 8 cards. So I have that. So if I was playing as Asha, so you would have Vainglory in the center, and then you have all of these well cards, and you have to get through this deck in order to battle him. So the thing that's interesting, though, is you're not going to see every one of these cards. What you're going to do is there's going to be 4 out here, and you start off by discarding 3, and then you are going to be working with your cards and these dice to take these out of the game. And as you do that, you also have a health of 10, which is on just a dice that you move down. I sometimes will pull a die a lot of one of my other games instead to use because I like that to track it a little bit better. But what happens is when you defeat one of these things, so for example, this one, if I were to defeat the hunting cat, when I do that, it says I get to delve down 3, which means I take the top 3 cards off of this deck and they're out of the game. This is defeated, so it goes there, and then a new card will come out. Occasionally, you will have to do something with one of these where they may get put back, but some cards let you delve down 2, 3, 4. I think there's even one that lets you delve down 6. So that's how you're going to work through this deck. You don't have to beat every single card in it because some of them you're simply going to move past. There's also sometimes just an event that will happen, so you can activate an event. Now, if you fail one of these, because sometimes you're not going to be able to get enough points on that initial turn. So sometimes you may have like 4 progress towards it, but you needed 7. So you have to try it again. And when you fail it, this one says you have to lose 2 cards out of your hand. This one says you're going to lose some health. Obviously, some of the cards in your hand will let you mitigate that. So on your turn, you can look at your hand of cards and you can choose to play one that matches the color of the card. There's 4 colors in the game, or white can go against anything. So if you want, you can play a card and use its ability, and then you can potentially put another card underneath it. You won't get its ability, but you will get the boost number at the bottom. So this would give me potentially 5. And then you have 4 dice and you have to roll all 4 dice. You can also choose to play no cards and simply roll your dice, because when you run out of these cards, you have to do an exhaust action, which, as you can see from this person's demeanor, exhausting is not good. And if you exhaust and get too many of the wrong cards, you can lose the game immediately. So you want to be very careful how you're using your cards. And then you're going to roll your dice and see if you beat the challenge or if you just made progress towards it. Resolve any effects and go again. So you do this until either all of the well cards are gone and you can't replace it, or until you lose the game. If all of the well cards have been dealt with, you then are going to flip over the bad guy that you were taking on that time. Read what it says. There will be 4 cards that come out around him that have to be defeated in order to be able to play these colors against the bad guy. And if you can do all of that and beat his total, you win the game. So this is not an easy game to win, but solo games shouldn't be easy to win. Otherwise, they're not very fun. And again, yes, you can play this with 2 people if you have 1 box and up to 4 if you have multiple boxes. It is so creative. It is so immersive. The artwork is incredible. I love that you can also take characters from one box and you can play them against villains from another. So everything can be mix and match. So you have a lot of different opportunities to try out different strategies and skills and see what's going to work for you. You may find you have a favorite character and maybe you just want to take that character against all the baddies. I absolutely love the Kinfire Delve series. I highly recommend it. Like I said, I've only played it solo. I would imagine if you enjoy co-op games, it would play fabulously co-op as well. But this is a great series. So I would love to know, what do you think? Give me a like and a follow, and I'll keep bringing you more board game content. Thanks. Bye.